Nah, not Vergil Ortiz. Not Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz, what? That he ducked? That he avoided? That he refused to fight Bud Crawford twice? Nah. Paco, the WBO president, you stated that, what, Paco? Say it again.
Vergil refused to fight him twice. I don't know why. Vergil Ortiz, excuse me.
Just to confirm, you're saying Vergil Ortiz refused to fight Crawford 2 times?
Yeah, we offered the fight twice here.
It can't. Nah. I gotta talk about this. Because I don't agree on everything he's saying. Nah. Don't you shoot the messenger, folks. Don't you shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting the news. WBO President Paco, in a recent interview with a Boxing Voice, and shout out to the Boxing Voice, I'm gonna push the that interview in the link so y'all can see the whole interview. He stated that Vergil Ortiz, one of the phenom in the sport of boxing that's gonna be fighting Stanionis in April, refused. That's the word that he used. He ain't used duck. He ain't used avoided. But you can translate it to those words if you want. But he said Vergil Ortiz refused to fight Bud Crawford twice. Bud Crawford, the 3-division world champion, was undisputed in the 140-pound division and now currently the WBO super champion. I'm a little bit confused now. He said twice. Now, of course, when you fight for another sanctioning body, some of the sanctioning body, they get like a little fickle, like, well, he didn't want the fight. He didn't want the fight because they didn't pay that sanctioning fees for the WBO. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe he could say once, but twice. I remember and I recall that Vergil Ortiz was the #1 contender to fight Bud Crawford a while ago. When Danny Silva Garcia was #1, and Danny Silva Garcia decided to fight Earl of True Spins, Vergil Ortiz became #1. Around that time, Sean Porter was not #1, nor he was a ranked fighter in the WBO during the pandemic. And I believe, and I did a bunch of videos about it, a lot of people didn't do a bunch of videos, that Vergil Ortiz got snubbed by the WBO, in my opinion, because Vergil Ortiz was in line to fight Bud Crawford. And then politically, Sean Porter moved from 15 and then to 4 and then to surprisingly #1, almost like they did Keith Fontaine Thurman in the WBC. But Sean Porter became #1, and then they mandated the fight with Sean Porter and Bud Crawford. I didn't hear no orders from WBO ordering the fight from Bud Crawford. Have y'all ever heard any orders from the WBO to face Bud Crawford? Because look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm consistent. I keep it on bossy logically and objectively. Every time you go to the WBO website, they put all the orders. Every time they order a mandatory, they put it for the world to see. They put it publicly for everybody to see. I ain't never seen Vergil Ortiz order to fight Bud Crawford. Have y'all seen it? I ain't see it. And I thought that they did a disservice to Vergil Ortiz because he was the #1 contender to be the mandatory to Bud Crawford, and that ain't happened. Now, look, of course, I cannot argue with the president of the WBO and argue about their business, but I'm just keeping it consistent in this matter. I never thought that Vergil Ortiz ducked Bud Crawford. I know Vergil Ortiz wanted the fight, and then let's say they presented to him twice. The whole year we was talking about Bud Crawford and Earl of True Spins. The whole year. So he can't, I don't think that, what, did they offer the fight to Bud Crawford? I mean, to Vergil Ortiz to fight him other than David Avanesian? Was it that? Because I know the WBA sent a order for Vergil Ortiz to fight Stanionis, and the reason why is because we all thought, and even the WBO thought, that we was going to get Earl of True Spins versus Bud Crawford. So what the hell Vergil Ortiz was supposed to do? What the hell everybody in the division was supposed to do? They held the division hostage, and the Belt Federation let Bud and Earl Spence hold the division hostage. It was y'all ain't on the shit. So how is now you going to say that Vergil Ortiz refused to fight Bud Crawford twice when he'd been calling for that fight. He'd been in line to that fight. He'd been politically moved away from that fight. But I'm just saying what the WBO Paco is saying. I don't think that Vergil Ortiz avoided or refused to fight Bud Crawford. I think they did a political mess surrounding Vergil Ortiz. When he was number one, they pushed him back. There was no order recorded. So, refused twice. I gotta ask Vergil Ortiz this. Refused twice? I remember Vergil Ortiz was livid with the boxing business. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. To be honest, I know I might sound naive, but I'm leaning towards Vergil Ortiz on this one. I'm leaning towards that Vergil Ortiz did not refuse to fight Bud Crawford, did not duck Bud Crawford, did not avoid Bud Crawford, and I believe the business of boxing avoided that fight. And now that he's fighting Stenionis, now all of a sudden Vergil Ortiz is refused. That means that you presented. He said, no, I don't want to fight Bud Crawford. And he said, no, I don't want to fight. I'm not ready again. I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Love you. God bless, and on to the next.